Hey guys, this is Anime Ball Z here, and today we are going to be doing the 5th part of What If Goku Had the Monkey God's Powers. Please like the video if you haven't already and subscribe, it's totally free and you can unsubscribe whenever you want. There's nothing much else I'd like to say in the intro, so without further ado let's get into the video.
Slick talker since a jet. Winter time, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag. Disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school.
Now what follows for the Warriors is the Universe 6 saga. Goku and the Saiyans get ready to head over to the tournament by spending a few years in the hyperbolic time chamber just as they'd done previously. Here they make astounding progress. Piccolo starts rivaling the Saiyans even when they're in Super Saiyan Blue. As for Goku though, the same can't be said. Even in just his standard godly Namekian form, he can completely overpower the likes of even Vegeta. Out of the Saiyans, Vegeta is the weakest. Following him is Gohan, then Goku by a significant margin. Piccolo and Goku get a much better relationship with each other because they spar with each other so much. Goku can only be hurt by him, so he's his only chance at properly sparring. Now what comes next is the actual tournament. Vegeta is placed first and annihilates the first few fighters with ease. As for Kaba, he still gives him the ability to use Super Saiyan and ends up defeating him in the end. The highly anticipated fight in this tournament is between Vegeta and Hit. Vegeta stands against him with utmost confidence while having his hands behind his back. Hit looms over him from his great stature and seems intimidating for the other fighters, but Vegeta himself feels nothing from that. The fight begins and Vegeta zooms straight at Hit. He throws a few punches, but Hit manages to use his swiftness to remain untouched. Vegeta is still in his base form, so it's nothing for him to worry about. He continues on in Super Saiyan and ends up just punching Hit, who is too strong to actually be pushed back by him. Hit fights in a very defensive way and this frustrates the likes of Vegeta. "Throw back already," he shouts, hurling himself straight at Hit. In the process of advancing toward him, the assassin utilizes his time skip to land a devastating strike to Vegeta. He is completely winded from the strike and falls onto one hand from feeling this immense pain. It's like he can't breathe for a bit, and this shows him just how strong Hit is. He can't take his power for granted, and staying in ordinary Super Saiyan won't do much for him. Vegeta shoots up and transforms simultaneously, entering his Super Saiyan God form. His godly form has an incredibly pressurizing aura and is well above the God form that he possessed at this time in canon. Hit seems unbothered by the waves of air that blast in his face, then Vegeta takes the initiative with his approach. Blasting forward, his speed is so immense that Hit can't properly react to him. Champa, who is levels above these two mortals, can see that his own fighter won't be doing much to block Vegeta's next attack. It's incredibly frustrating to see even the intricacies of Vegeta's move while Hit is just frozen in place. This is because he is too weak to respond to the incoming strike. Vegeta lands a clean punch straight to his face, launching him off the ring before he can even resort to his trusty time skip. He is launched straight off the arena and eliminated, meaning that Vegeta has taken down all of Universe 6's very strongest fighters. The universe rejoice, especially Beerus, because he has gotten the win over his brother and they return to their usual training. At this time, something odd occurs at the Capsule Corp. While Goten and Trunks are just studying at the vast complex, an individual appears out of literally nowhere. This is future Trunks. With longer hair and a muscular frame, he is significantly stronger than he was in canon. The training from the much stronger Saiyans had an effect on him, allowing him to access powers like Super Saiyan 3. He arrives heavily injured and almost bleeding out from an arrow wedged in his chest. Bulma attends to him as quickly as she can and then calls Whis so that the training warriors can return to Earth. Future Trunks, now healing from his wounds with the use of a sensu bean, shoots open his eyes and powers up on the spot. He transforms into Super Saiyan 3 and destroys the gazebo that they're in. He shows off a very muscular frame with long hair that flows up his back in his flowing aura. He speeds toward Goku, ripping off large chunks of grass from his speed. He strikes him straight on his forearm and literally doesn't damage him at all. After this happens, he reveals a weird dagger, then he tries to slice Goku only to see that he isn't the fighter he was trying to defeat before. He now looks totally different and he just retreats upon realizing that he made it to the past. "I'm sorry, I thought you were someone else." "It's fine, what happened with you?" Goku asks. He then proceeds to reveal the numerous events that have transpired in his own future timeline. Goku Black now reigns over the world, and Goku ends up asking about the mental makeshift dagger that he used to try and hurt him. Trunks realized after analyzing the Vijaya bow arrows that the metal in the tip was capable of breaking Goku's skin. Therefore, he uses the dagger and floods ki into it to make it a formidable weapon. He isn't great at using weapons since there aren't many fighters adept at doing so, but he looks very skilled in Goku's eyes. Vegeta then asks to spar his son to see how strong he's become. Future Trunks was significantly stronger than him when he returned to his own timeline, but Vegeta is sure that won't be the case now. After training with Whis for so long and achieving God Ki, the chances of his son from the future beating him in battle is practically naught. However, that isn't exactly what he's aiming to prove. He genuinely is just curious about gauging his son's strength. Future Trunks begins in Super Saiyan 3 and he sees no need to use the other forms. He believes that Super Saiyan 3, after the stamina issue is worked on a great deal, is a very useful form. As for him, his form is not mastered, but he can use it much more easily. Vegeta can tell this is the case because he enters the form extremely quickly. For them, when they tried to access the form initially, it could take up to a minute of hard work before they could change states. Future Trunks shouts, unsheathing his new special sword made out of the countless Vijaya bow arrows. He forcefully swings at his father with everything that he has, but he can't hit him at all. Vegeta makes the lightest, most elegant steps with the floor to make sure that he isn't hurt. Trunks jumps, then flies down with his sword aimed right over his head. Before he can land a cut on Vegeta, the prince grabs the massive sword by slamming both his hands into the flat edges of the incoming blade. This stops it right in place and the two push at each other for a short time before Trunks gives in and pulls back. You are decently strong, but you fight in a manner that's too obvious. How did you manage to survive against this Goku black person for so long? Upon saying this makes the others shocked by his callous words. Vegeta, be more understanding, Bulma says, berating him. Vegeta just scoffs in reaction but stays silent as well, awaiting his son's reply. It was Goku. I trained just like how he did in the chamber. I continued to work my body to the highest of its abilities. I wanted to be like you, father. I found that having a steel mind was the only thing that kept me alive for this long, Future Trunks explains, bowing to his father. After this, the group decide that they want to see this warrior for themselves. The Saiyans and Piccolo arrive, with the Namekian taking the fight first. How come he doesn't have the same weapons that Goku uses, Piccolo asks. I'm not sure. He tried to use the Mason things initially, but they didn't really do much. He stopped using them for a long time now, Trunks furthers. Goku is stunned upon hearing this, but Piccolo is smart enough to break apart this revelation. It must be that those who are able to harness the full potential of these weapons must be divine and worthy of doing so. In the case of Goku Black being so evil, he doesn't seem like he is at all. It must be because of his evil nature. He doesn't possess the same attitude and divine powers as Goku to wield it. What a surprise, Piccolo says, cracking his knuckles. He does this while walking forward and stares down the warrior that remains floating in the sky. How about it, Namekian? Show me how strong you really are, Goku Black says, making his stance. Piccolo smirks before blasting up at full speed. He takes Goku Black off guard with his initial speed and flies around him to land a powerful strike straight to his back. This forces him ahead and Piccolo blocks the following attacks that come from Goku Black. No matter how fast he tries to throw these punches and kicks, they only manage to land on the Namekian's forearms. He's simply too fast and durable to think twice about these incoming strikes. Goku Black overextends, trying his hardest to just land a hit on Piccolo for once, but he evades and lands a precise bomb of a punch that shoots him down into the ground like an arrow. The building crumbles to the ground from the pure force behind the strike and Future Trunks is in awe. It reminds him of the Piccolo that he had to face in his own timeline all those years ago, but he's happy to see that such power is now on the good side. Goku Black slowly raises from within the rubble, wiping the dust off his clothes while cursing under his breath. Infuriated by this embarrassing performance against the mortal of all people, he shoots out the building and ends up attaining Super Saiyan from pure rage. He lands a punch to Piccolo's face and his punch clearly holds much more weight than before now. His punch creates a sizable shockwave, but Piccolo lands one of his own in retaliation, which sounds much more like an explosion. Goku Black is held back from the strike and the beatdown continues, with Piccolo just overpowering him completely. Piccolo wonders why this Goku Black person is so weak, but you can see that he simply isn't able to harness the power of Goku's body. It seems that the only way to utilize the power of the Saiyan body is to have a Saiyan mind, Piccolo says, with his arms crossed with Goku Black standing against him. There are bruises all over his body and blood dripping from his mouth and nose. You mortals spout nothing but nonsense. It's a shock that you've all managed to live so long, constantly killing each other for no apparent reason, Goku Black shouts in rage, wiping the blood from his mouth. I understand what you mean, we mortals are not perfect at all, but that gives you no right to get rid of us. Should we be killed due to our own nature? Piccolo questions, making Goku Black stop in place. I don't care about your nature, you kill and should be killed for your glaring imperfections. Only divine beings should reign in this world. I'm surprised that Saiyan over there has sided with you even though he is above you. You are lucky the divine being hasn't joined my cause and slaughtered you like livestock, Goku Black claims. Anyways, I don't want to have a conversation. I want to see you all gone from this universe, Goku Black declares, powering up further. His Super Saiyan aura becomes even more intense and he zooms forward to finally win Piccolo with a whipping strike. He He wheezes in pain from taking the attack but looks furious upon receiving it. In reaction, he roars and his skin switches to red. His muscles enlarge and he enters the Super Namekian God state. Future Trunks is totally awestruck by this state and by how strong this Namekian is. Vegeta just scoffs, annoyed once again that a Namekian could contend with Saiyans like them. He always felt like power of this degree was reserved for the Saiyan race, but it's clear that isn't the case with Piccolo here. "I'm gonna pulverize you," Piccolo declares coldly, before punching Goku Black straight in his face. With this insane multiplier to his strength, the gap between him and Goku Black is now immeasurable. Each punch that the Pseudo Saiyan attempts to land causes no damage or simply doesn't connect. Now on the ground, Piccolo dips under a wild swing to knee Goku Black straight in his gut. He follows with a punch to the jaw that ends up making the surrounding buildings crumble from the created shockwave. Grabbing his head with his mammoth hand, he repeatedly slams it into the ground before this divine being stops moving. The fight is over, they believe. Piccolo raises back up, dusting off his hands. He starts walking off, but the fallen fighter opens one eye and grabs a loose pole from the ground. Shouting and hurling it forward, he shoots it straight toward Piccolo with insane speed. Future Trunks can't even see him throw it, but Goku sees this happen from a mile away. He sweeps right in there, standing in between the likes of him and the Namekian. This metal pole is launched straight at his chest and he believes that his body will stop the incoming projectile. However, it does not. It stabs through his entire body and makes Goku cough out a lot of blood. He stumbles to the floor, ripping out the rusty, rugged pole from his chest. A large volume of blood comes pouring out from the hole in his torso, but Goku soon stands back up and starts healing somehow. His body is invincible against non-divine beings, but also possesses amazing healing abilities. It allows him to remain immortal, even in the face of a sufficiently divine or demonic threat. Goku, revealing his Vijaya bow, shoots off 3 arrows at once in Super Saiyan 3. The bows whistle as they cut through the air, stabbing right into Goku Black's body. Just as he manages to take out the metal arrows, 3 more are stabbed right into his body. Another 3 then land into him, which eventually cripple him. The excessive arrows that just continue to stab into his body cause him to tumble down to the floor, struggling to breathe and move properly. Every time he moves a muscle, he just feels an overwhelming sense of agony that keeps him pinned to the floor. Upon removing the several arrows in his body, the wounds heal once again, and 3 more arrows are hurled in his direction. This time he sidesteps and evades all of them, before erupting in the pink aura of Super Saiyan Rose. "Here we are, your strongest form with a divine twist," Goku Black shouts out, smiling. He soars forward in speedy flight, taking Goku off guard by his speed. He receives a punch straight to his chest, shattering numerous ribs in his chest. An upwards kick that follows this punch launches him into the sky like he's been shot out of a cannon. The Saiyan flails around uncontrollably as he's been launched into the sky, entering Super Saiyan Blue in a hurry so that he isn't hurt like that again. In this new form of his, he reveals his mace as Goku Black comes flying straight at him and connects with a perfect shot to the head. The created shockwave even knocks himself back a little and causes gusts of air to shoot out in every direction. This dense outburst of air even knocks down Future Trunks, who is more than 100 meters away from them at the moment. The strike was so powerful that it literally snapped the neck of Goku Black. His head is stuck in a really awkward place, but it snaps right back into a normal position and looks completely fine after a few seconds. That hurt, Goku Black states, making Goku a little startled. The fight continues and the gap between the two warriors only continues to close. After long enough, the tide turns in Goku Black's favour. His power only continues to grow and grows at a greater rate than Goku's own. They can both heal from their attacks, but Goku Black's mind is almost merging with his body. He is growing more accustomed to using the Saiyan's body after every attack he receives, continuing to grow stronger and stronger. They can see that since Goku Black has this body of his, only Goku and Piccolo can damage him without the use of those divine weapons. Now that he has grown this strong, the two warriors aren't powerful enough to take him down. The two fighters retreat upon noticing how strong the fighter is. Shortly after, Zamasu then arrives. The two warriors fly side by side, looking incredibly intimidating to the warriors that look up to them. Your attempt at resisting us is futile. Hand over your useless lives toward the cause, Goku Black orders, extending his hand toward the crew. There's only one option that we have left, Goku, Piccolo says. What is it, Piccolo? Goku asks, while still looking at the two fighters above. Even if Goku can't seem to overpower this fighter, he's a Saiyan. He'll be ready to die in the heat of battle if it means he can protect people like Future Trunks who cannot protect themselves. We need the power of that god friend of yours. I'm sure they won't be able to resist erasure, Piccolo claims. Goku hates to have to resort to such a thing, but there simply isn't much that they can do here. With this ultra powerful Saiyan flying in front of them that could slaughter them at a moment's notice, he ends up giving in. After a few seconds of silence, the button is clicked and the king of everything Zeno arrives at the scene. A brief explanation is given to him on who these people are and what they've done, and he decides to take the liberty to erase them from reality altogether. Before they can even try and resist, their bodies turn to nothing but white light, finally transforming into descending clouds of sand. Future Trunks is more than relieved that this has happened, and Peach returns to his timeline. Back on Earth though, somebody has made a surprise return. This is Frieza. The, in his eyes, new and improved Frieza. His state now resembles the fifth form of Cooler from his movie. He looks quite menacing and resembles the attribute a lot more mentally as well. He arrives and there literally isn't proper resistance for him. The Saiyans being Goku, Gohan and Vegeta are still in the future along with Piccolo. The others just aren't exactly the same sort of fighters as them. The only strong fighters on the planet are the likes of the strongest human fighters along with Goten and Trunks. Goten, Trunks, Krillin, Tien and Yamcha are the ones that confront the Emperor first. Frieza, Krillin says, almost as a question. He's never seen this state of his and can feel that his ki is slightly different. He senses it and can tell that it's him, but it still feels even more sinister than it initially felt, somehow. Yes, it's me, Frieza says, with a deeper and darker voice. I have reinvented myself as an individual and managed to achieve true unchallenged power. None of you can contest me, Frieza claims, pointing at the group. Krillin feels scared and gulps upon seeing him, however the only option that they have left is to fight. Alright kids, you two go Super Saiyan and we will use our own gimmick. The only way we beat this guy is together, Krillin says, trying to summon some form of courage in the group. Got it, Goten replies in understanding. Goten and Trunks simultaneously power up into Super Saiyan, while Goten's aura is much greater than Trunks's. Goten has inherited some of the abilities of Goku like what happened to Gohan. He powers up further and reaches Super Saiyan 2, even cracking the ground from his release of pure strength. Goten soars forward and is pretty much the first person to take on Frieza. The others will act merely as supplementary fighters to help him take down this foe. Tien and Krillin in Kaioken times 25 both use their most powerful solar flare and stun Frieza for just a short moment. However, Goten takes this chance to throw haymakers at the demon, landing punch after punch onto his body. Frieza can take the attacks though and laughs upon feeling them land on his body. Is this the sort of resistance that you put up against me? You might as well just roll over and let yourselves get killed, Frieza claims, while laughing at them contemptuously. The fighters don't reply to this comment because they hate to believe that the being might just be telling the truth. Goten continues to throw punch after punch until he backflips away and pulls his hands back. He sees the severity of the situation and knows that he must try his absolute hardest to get rid of this being. Everyone fall back, Goten shouts, shooting himself back as if he's an arrow. The ki blast starts growing in his palms and he shoots out his most powerful Kamehameha wave. The energy wave shoots straight into Frieza, who doesn't seem to move away when he sees it coming toward him. After the powerful attack, Goten stands there with bated breath as he waits to see the state of Frieza. The smoke slowly pulls across his skin, revealing just a bit of dirt that remains on his body. Other than that, there is nothing left on him. He is totally fine. Goten looks terrified by the sight of Frieza because he put everything into that attack. I should have trained more, Goten thinks to himself, berating himself for his weakness. Suddenly, Frieza speed blitzes the group and stabs his hand straight through the body of Trunks. He then does the same to Goten. The humans watch him do this and are in complete and utter shock. Tien gains the courage first and shoots his signature tri-beam straight at Frieza while his attention is diverted. The powerful attack rams into his back and causes him to step to the side from the impact. Other than that though, nothing much has happened. Frieza turns back to the three humans that stand before him and give them the most devilish smile possible. This smile exudes nothing but evil, and Krillin trembles upon meeting eyes with this demonic being. Why are you doing this? Why did you kill those innocent children? Krillin asks. To be honest, Baldy, I just don't care anymore. I used to have a greater sense of direction. I wanted to expand my empire. I wanted to assert my dominance as the strongest. However, now that I've become this greater being, I only wish to see destruction. I want to see the world burn, Frieza shouts, making the ground rumble from his booming voice. In that moment, the Saiyans from the future arrive and appear at the scene soon after once they sense Frieza's presence. As soon as they teleport there though, the Saiyans just look and see the dead, bleeding corpses of Goten and Trunks. Gohan and Goku have their vision stuck on Goten while Vegeta's is stuck on the young Trunks. He can't believe what has happened and they can't help but just remain there frozen. As they continue to stare, their power signatures constantly increase. You did this, Goku asks, furious with what Frieza has done. The clouds above them darken and look more unstable from this release of energy. Of course I did, Goku. It's an amazing thing to see you all here so that I can take you all down at once. I'll finish off with those humans and your families to put the icing on top of the cake once I'm done. Let's see if you weaklings can take me down now, Frieza declares, more confident than ever. Goku begins shouting and flies straight at Frieza, swinging his mace straight into his face. Before Frieza is launched away, Gohan arrives at his back in Super Saiyan 3 and kicks him right into the sky. Frieza is sent flailing and rolling around when being launched up, and he meets the full wrath of Vegeta's close-up Big Bang attack. The attack slams straight into Frieza, exploding violently. The light is so bright that the humans are forced to either shield their eyes or look away. Once it dies down though, Frieza stands ahead of the warriors that just charged him and is now bleeding across his body. Their attacks did damage, serious damage, but Frieza doesn't seem bothered. The humans are grateful to see him in this state, but look even more frightened by the second from noticing that Frieza seems unbothered by these injuries. Now, for me to steal the show, let me show you Ultimate Frieza. In this odd demonic form of his, he powers up and makes the ground tremble intensely. The Saiyans struggle to gauge just how much power Frieza is managing to output, all without an ounce of God Ki to rely on. His skin switches from white to a pristine scintillating gold. His aura follows a similar colour scheme and Frieza is revealed in all his glory. His power has reached new heights and Goku readies himself for the incoming battle. He powers up into Super Saiyan Blue right away and so do the fighters that stand by his side. The three fighters stand beside each other and enter their stances while Frieza does the exact same. Come on guys, I'll show you just who you're trying to contest with, Frieza declares, signalling for them to advance. So that will conclude the 5th part of What If Goku Had the Monkey God's Powers. I know this was quite a short part, but I think I'll get the next video out sooner. Please tell me something you liked about this video or something that I should improve on for the next one. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.